Hey everybody, Ben and Karen here with We Go Fishing, and welcome to Texas Fishing News. And of all the videos that we make in a year, I think this might actually be the most important one that we do, because this one might actually save your life or somebody's life around you. Normally we do the fishing videos and things like that. It's spring break week, and so I thought of many people on the beach. We do a lot of beach fishing, and this is something that we're always conscious of when we're on the beach, and that is rip currents. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Rip currents are present on many beaches every day of the year. Rip currents are powerful. They're narrow channels of water. That's something to remember when we're talking about this. They're narrow channels of water that move quickly away from shore. They do cause many fatalities in the United States each and every year. So most people, they don't know how to spot them. They don't know what to do if they get caught in one. And so that's part of what we're going to talk about. And we're going to do it through facts and myths to talk about this.
They also underestimate the danger. They think, I'm a good swimmer, whatever.
Right. And it really doesn't have anything to do with your swimming ability. I mean, always swimming is a good thing. You should know how to swim. You should know how to survive. But that's part of it. Is people say, oh, I'm a really good swimmer. And that's actually the first myth, is you can actually outswim a rip current. And you can't. Not even Olympic swimmers can outswim a rip current. They are pulling hard. They are pulling fast. And they will rip you. That's the whole idea. They will rip you out off the beach.
They are measured at 5 miles per hour or more. So 8 feet per second. It's faster than Matthew Phelps.
Yeah. So that's the first myth, is you cannot swim them. Do remember that. But they are narrow, and that's an important thing to remember. The other thing that we'll talk about here is that rip currents do not pull you underwater. That was something that I actually thought. I thought that they would actually be able to pull you underwater.
They thought you would suck you down and under and spit you back out through a tunnel or something. Yeah,
but they don't. What it does is it pulls you away from the beach. So you're in water, maybe chest-high water, something along those lines, and it pulls you out, and you can't fight back in against it. And so it's pulling you out, but not under. So that's an important thing to remember.
So flotation devices are helpful if you can't swim that well and don't know how to float. Then, you're just out in the ocean for a while waiting for your rescue.
Right. Another one that people talk about is human chains. And you'll see videos on this where people will put a human chain out to get the person pulling out.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's really dangerous. It puts a lot more people in danger. So it's not effective. Don't do that.
I've seen it happen once, but look, in dangerous conditions,
yes,
then one break of the chain and the rest of those people are go out.
Right, and then you have, now you, instead of having one person or two people that you're trying to rescue, now you have a whole group of people, and it puts more people in danger. And so it's probably always good when you're on the beach. And I don't know if everybody thinks about this, but to have a flotation device with you so that you can throw it to somebody. And that can definitely save their life as well. Another thing that to think, and this is part of the recognizing. Again, we want to teach you to recognize them, but also escape them. So part of the recognizing is they're not always visible, but there are some ways that you can see a rip current, a rip tide when it's actually happening. It can be difficult. One of the things is that if there's red flag warnings up, yellow flag warnings up, that means there's probably good current out there. So be aware of it then. But things that you're going to look for when you're looking for rip currents is churning, choppy water. If you're seeing the breaking of the waves, and then you see an area where the waves aren't breaking, and there's no wave action there.
I always look for something that looks different than the other. And I thought, well, that section looks really strange. And I've seen it on the beach before. Yeah. And I thought, oh, it's right there. Now I know what to look for.
Yeah.
But,
and so if you see that sort of thing, an area that's different in water color than the surrounding areas, extra foam in the water where there's not as much in other places, if you see lines of waves and you see a break in the waves, those are indications that rip currents are present, but they're not always visible. So that's something to remember. And it doesn't matter about the weather either.
Yeah. Another myth is that it only happens when there's bad weather.
No, yeah.
Rain or shine, you can have rip currents on a beautiful day.
You can have very small waves and still have rip currents, because it's not about that either. It's always another myth. It's always safest to swim when the waves are smaller. Again, that's not necessarily, because if you see a break in that wave pattern, that could actually be where the rip current is.
Yeah. The safest thing is to have the water not be going past your waist, where you can simply walk out of it.
And here in Texas, one of the things that we do have is the beaches are shallow. They do go out quite a ways, but I see guys up there, and this is why I'm bringing into the fishing, because I see guys up there in neck deep water.
And when a wave comes over you, you're now floating. And the dangerous part, once you're floating, you can get pulled.
Yes, that's when you get pulled. So the thing to remember when you're caught in this, and this is important, and it talks about this little graphic right here, but I'm going to describe it to you for those of you that maybe aren't watching it but listening to it. One of the things with rip currents is they're narrow. They're very narrow tracts of water. And so what you do is you either allow it to pull you out, don't fight against it, but then swim perpendicular, sideways along the beach, and you will be able to get out of it that way.
Don't try to swim back to the coast. Just try to swim sideways.
That's not going to work. If you try
get
and
out
swim
of it by swimming this way, and then the waves will be normal, and you'll feel you'll be able to swim again.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing to remember is don't try and fight in against it. You're going to wear yourself out. Swim perpendicular to it along the shoreline, and eventually you will be able to find a spot where that current isn't pulling on you and getting it out. The other thing is call for help. Say, hey, I'm caught, that sort of thing, and all of that will definitely help you as well. So I wanted to give this to you so you can recognize them, but also learn to escape them. If you're caught in a rip current, don't panic. Allow it to pull you out, and then swim along the shoreline to get out of that. And hopefully this will help you.
And until next time,
may you always catch your limit.